Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we're talking about another corrupt leader in the Democratic Party, who's also a woman. This appears to be a trend going for the left lately, at least among our city mayors, especially the last week or two. Last week it was the mayor of Oakland, Libby Schaaf, who was tipping off illegal aliens so they wouldn't get arrested for trespassing in our country. They probably took our jobs.
I hope we take this moment to recognize that we have to fight against the racist myth that the Trump administration is trying to perpetuate, that immigrants are dangerous criminals.
And this time we've got an even bigger scandal from the Nashville mayor, Megan Barry, who recently was forced to resign after getting caught stealing money from the city.
What is your conditional plea to the charge of theft of property, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Earlier in state court, Barry pleaded guilty to theft of property, agreeing to repay the city $11,000 in unlawful expenditures.
Oh yeah, it's bad. But this is just the beginning of the mayor's degeneracy and corruption, which I guess is to be expected from these female Democrat leaders at this point. We'll get back to Megan Barry shortly, but first, let's do a quick recap and talk about some other recent corrupt and degenerate female Democrats, just for a minute.
She stood in front of my son's flag-draped casket and lied to the American people. What she did there, she blamed the rage directed towards the American embassies on, quote-unquote, that awful video that we had nothing to do with.
Of course, we can easily go back a year or so to Hillary Clinton, who obviously was the most corrupt and crooked presidential candidate in U.S. history, and she just happened to be a woman. And her political career before that was also mired with controversy after controversy, ranging from breaking phones with hammers to delete evidence and government investigations on her, all the way up to losing American lives in the Benghazi affair, and of course trading away American uranium to Russia for money and favors. Don't forget about that. But it wasn't just Hillary who was corrupt. Beneath Hillary, there was a number of her lackeys who went down after this too, almost. Most notably is Uma Abedin, who while being hot and easy on the eyes, she's also shown to be just as corrupt as her boss and mentor Hill Dog, whom has been wrapped up in all the same controversies as Hillary. And in addition, she's also been under fire for sharing confidential government emails on her estranged husband, Anthony Weiner's laptop. Weiner, by the way, is in jail right now for inappropriately seducing and sending nudes to a minor, underage girl. Weiner, of course, was a politician himself too, serving nearly 12 years as a Democrat representative, before being caught and jailed and forced to register as a sexual offender for life. But corrupt female Democrats marrying other corrupt and degenerate Democrat men is nothing new for this group of left-wing elites. Hillary, of course, is married to Bill Clinton, who is not only a former president, he's also the first president to be caught and impeached for sexual misconduct. Over the years, Bill has also been accused of much worse, including rape, but his wife Hillary has been helping him cover that shit up for years, to protect the dynasty.
Or maybe he didn't perform very well in some of his business endeavors, but I think one of the things that we really need to be looking at in this debate is that Bill Clinton is a rapist. Infowars.com. Bill Clinton's a rapist. Bill Clinton is a rapist.
All right.
Bill Clinton, rapist.
So he knew that.
Now, this all might seem like old news to some, but others may not have heard all these disgusting horror stories from the Democrats. Not all the details. And some may have forgotten all the gritty, dirty parts. So, I want to do this quick recap of all that before we get into today's story. Because not only is there a lot of similarities here, I also believe the Nashville mayor Megan Barry and her tale, it rivals Hillary's and Huma Abedin's and Anthony Weiner's in a lot of ways. Let me explain. First, let's start at the beginning. Megan Barry is a Democrat politician who was elected as Nashville, Tennessee's first female mayor in 2015, and things seem to be doing great for her first year or so. The city was prosperous, things were growing, and they even got an expansion soccer franchise. Barry also had an exceptionally high approval rate, topping out at a whopping 70% at one point. But things started to turn for the worse around last summer, when Barry's 22-year-old son Max died of a drug overdose. And while the coroner reported the death as an accidental overdose related to complications over Max's obesity, many others suspected foul play, or perhaps it was even a suicide. Megan probably had some malcontent towards her son for one reason or the other, and there were certainly some problems in the family that could have produced stress and ill will between its members, which we'll soon see. And at the very least, Megan and her husband weren't being the best parents, and weren't keeping the best eye on their son. And don't get me wrong about this either. Her son dying is a terrible tragedy, of course. 22 years old is way too young for anyone to go. I feel for the family, but at the same time, there's something really off with this group too. Not only did Megan Barry's son overdose 2 years into her career as mayor, he also did it amongst an affair she was having with her bodyguard, Sergeant Rob Forrest.
I, as a public official, have had a private event in my life that I need to share. I had a consensual relationship with a member of my security detail, and I am deeply sorry for that.
That's right. After her son's death, police were forced to investigate everything going on with the Berry family, and what they found became a whole new story in itself. Megan was cheating on her husband and dead son's father for the year or so leading up to their kid's death. You gotta think maybe their marital problems had something to do with their kid's drug problems, right? Or maybe not. Either way, this is all not a good look.
And I am embarrassed, and I am sad, and I am so sorry for all the pain that I have caused my family and his family, and I know that God will forgive me, but that Nashville doesn't have to.
And the discovery of Megan's affair came with its own new set of issues. First being she was sleeping with someone working under her as mayor. And the people of Nashville have obsessed over the story in recent days. In a hashtag Time's Up #MeToo era, in which power dynamics and questions of workplace relationships have also been subject to fresh scrutiny and debate, some have puzzled over the ramifications of a married woman in a position of authority engaging in a consensual relationship with a subordinate. I'm pretty sure if the genders were flipped here and it was a man mayor sleeping with a woman subordinate, the press would be having a field day with this. Or even if this woman was a Republican. I'm sure if it was Dana Lausch, the NRA representative, having an affair, CNN would have it plastered on their screens 24/7. But unfortunately, no. Megan Berry is a Democrat, and no one seems to care about this story. And it's also par for course for the Democrats, as I went over before. But there's still more to this story. While Berry came out and admitted to this affair in January, and things may have quieted down for a bit in Nashville, more scandalous details emerged recently that eventually caused their mayor to, of course, resign this week. Upon further investigation, nude photographs of the mayor were found on her lover and former bodyguard's phone. Not as detestable as Anthony Weiner sending nudes to minors, but still similar, and a rather brazen thing to do when cheating on your husband, while also holding a public office no less. And it was also discovered that Berry and her boo were having regular secret meetings at a local cemetery, probably to have disrespectful and illegal extramarital affairs amongst the dead. Kinda freaky.
The mayor and her bodyguard would take a long drive to a secluded part of the cemetery where they would park the SUV. The two would remain in the cemetery for anywhere between 12 and 24 minutes. The video, first obtained by Nashville station WTVF, shows the SUV on repeated trips to the cemetery.
And the real kicker here, and the final nail in Megan Berry's coffin, oddly enough, was that she got caught paying her lover overtime he didn't work. And the officials are also looking into 26 out-of-town trips Miss Berry took with her lover since April 2016, which are also probably either frivolous spending or outright vacationing on the government's dime. Berry and Sergeant Forrest were effectively cheating the city for money. Embezzlement, bribery, stealing, whatever you want to call it. Megan Berry is a cheater and a thief, and she deserves whatever's coming to her.
All of that may have been kept private between the two, if not for the investigation of a local TV station who essentially started following the money. They realized that their head of security had incurred tens of thousands of dollars of extra money in overtime costs. They started digging into it, to which they realized that this mayor, now former mayor, had been having an affair with her head of security.
Unfortunately, though, Berry doesn't appear to be paying for her crimes very much at all. Besides being forced to resign and pay back the city a mere $11,000, which is probably only a fraction of what this old coot was stealing, that and some probation are all the punishments this mayor will be facing. And I'm pretty sure if you or I stole 11 grand from someone, we would be in jail for a long time, let alone stealing that money from the city, from a city that elected you to lead it, not disgrace it. Nope, that's not gonna happen. And this is just another story of another corrupt and degenerate Democrat getting caught and merely being punished with a slap on the wrist. Oh, and let's not forget Berry is a woman. That really helps her case here, especially with the courts and public opinion. Anthony Weiner at least got a good amount of jail time, but he is a fucking white male, that bastard. But women like Megan Berry, Hillary Clinton, Huma Abedin, and of course, the Oakland mayor Libby Schaaf, they can all basically get away with murder, and some of them do, scot-free. Oh, and Megan Berry's lover and former bodyguard, Sergeant Robert Forrest, he was also forced to resign in shame, and he's gonna have to pay back the city a whopping $45,000. But after that, him and Berry are basically getting away with this shit. And I'm pretty sure this is only the tip of the iceberg of their corruption and stealing too, crooked fuckers. What do you guys think? Will this epidemic of corrupt female Democrat politicians ever end? Was it the likes of Hillary and Huma that set us up for these current and former female mayors to start doing illegal deeds of their own? And do you think former Mayor Berry should be serving jail time? Because I do. I'd be put in jail for stealing a $50 video game from Target right away, without question. So I don't see why the mayor of Nashville can steal thousands and thousands of dollars year after year and basically get away with it. Tell me what you guys think about all this below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. See y'all next time.